Hello, and welcome to the Killer Cuties podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Cassidy, and I've seen almost every horror movie out there.
And I'm KD, and before we started, I'd seen almost none of them.
So join us each week as I attempt to make a horror fan out of Katie.
As a warning, we will be discussing spoilers and some uncomfortable topics that may be in the plots, so feel free to check out the film on doesthedogdie.com first to check for any triggers before listening.
Today, we're going to be talking about the first movie in the premonition based supernatural horror series, Final Destination. Let's get spooky.
Shall I kick us off with a summary?
You shall.
Okay, Alex is preparing to go to Paris on a class trip when he has a premonition that the plane he and his 40 classmates are on will explode. His vision begins to come true, and he only escapes the exploding plane because he's kicked off when a fight breaks out between him and a rival classmate named Carter. Alex's friend Todd and Carter's girlfriend Terry are also kicked off the plane, ultimately being saved from the crash, along with Miss Luton, a student named Billy, and Alex's eventual love interest, Clear. During an investigation of the plane's crash's aftermath, FBI agents Ween and Shrek become suspicious of Alex for predicting it. After a memorial service for the victims of the crash, Todd is accidentally hung to death and Terry is hit and killed by a bus. Alex and Clear are told by the mortician working on Todd that they disrupted Death's plan by getting off the plane and will soon be killed regardless. Alex determines that Death is trying to claim each of the survivors in the order that they would have died on the plane crash and tries to save both Ms. Luton and Billy, but both are killed, creating additional suspicion surrounding Alex's involvement. Around this time, Alex discovers that Clear is next to be killed and rushes to save her, sacrificing himself in the process in an attempt to foil Death's plans. But he lives. He, Clear, and Carter travel to Paris to celebrate this, where Alex reveals that he's still worried that Death's plan is a little unfinished. As he rushes back to the hotel, he's almost hit and killed by a bus, but Carter saves him, only for a few minutes later, Carter to be hit and presumably killed by a falling neon sign. And then the credits roll.
And then the credits roll.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
This is the first movie that is not comedy, right?
Correct.
Thank you. That I thought was funny.
Okay. Yeah,
I laughed.
you messaged me about the Shrek and Ween thing, and I did not remember that, and I had literally just finished watching it again. I was like, I didn't
Oh my
even
God.
I wasn't even the names of the detectives was so low on my list of things to care about.
Well, it would have been mine too if their names weren't Ween and Shrek.
I don't know why, like, in one ear, out the next.
I don't. It killed me.
I've seen this movie.
I had to pause the movie.
I've seen this movie like bare minimum 10 times. And like I just never. I'm sorry. Was that the only part that made you laugh? Or was it just a laugh riot throughout the whole thing?
No, I laughed at just about every kill.
Yeah.
Terry getting hit by a bus and everybody getting splattered in the face with blood. Hilarious.
That was your Mean Girls getting hit by a bus in a horror movie moment, huh?
Exactly. Yes, that was fucking funny. Because I didn't see it coming, and it was just like one of those like oh
Yeah.
things, you know. You make that noise.
I have made that
Same with
noise.
yeah, I know you have. Same with Billy getting his head like sliced in half. Iconic. The last 2 seconds of the film.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This was just a laugh riot. I'm worried you're
Yeah,
a
I thought it was
little
funny.
desensitized.
Already 20 movies in. But
They when they first like screened this for people, they had to eventually like extend the whole Alka-Seltzer scene after Terry gets hit by the bus because people like couldn't recover fast enough. Like it was so shocking that they were like,
oh.
make that shit longer so we can cool down a bit.
Yeah, breathe for a second. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, like I wouldn't have known it was an R-rated movie unless I had looked after the fact. Like,
Is it rated R?
yeah,
For what? I don't
right?
even did they even say the fuck word?
I mean, Billy's death is kind of brutal. The face melting is kind of brutal. The, there's a lot of blood.
I
I mean,
guess.
yeah, it's R,
Hmm.
but it's 2000s R, so it's like
Yeah.
today's PG-13. um, yeah, no, I had a grand old time watching it. What about you? You've seen it a lot, so you must like it.
Oh, yeah. I love these movies. I think, like, they're ridiculous, and that's what makes them so much fun. I do kind of wish, because I get what you're saying, where it's kind of comedic, and, like, I think they lean into that a bit more in the later movies, and I kinda wish, like I think, like, the first 2 kinda take themselves, like, a little more seriously than they have to. I think if they had leaned into,
Yeah.
like, it and maybe been, like, a little bit more campy, it would've just been but
Yeah.
but it's early 2000s, so, you kinda have
Yeah,
to
no, I agree. If it had been the tone of Happy Death Day, would have been
Mm,
perfect.
see, then I feel like it would've just been, like, a comedy.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
asking.
know, we already know that you don't like horror movies, like but I do.
No, it's not that I don't like horror movies. Well, and generally I don't like horror comedies, but Happy Death Day was like the perfect tone.
Yeah. I feel like that would've been, like, a little too goofy.
Okay. Okay.
Did you know that originally, like, the picks for the roles of Alex and Clear were supposed to be Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst?
Yeah, a little Spider-Man action.
I know.
This was right before Spider-Man though, right? They were cast together for that after this?
I think so, yeah. I don't
Cute.
I don't think I would have liked it as much if it was them. Nothing against them. I just can't picture them in these roles.
Yeah, no. No. Um, Especially after seeing Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man. I can't take him seriously after that.
That's so rude. The original Spider-Mans are the best ones ever.
Oh, I didn't argue that,
Spider-Man 3
but
or bust.
I'm just thinking of the scene of him walking down the street with his finger guns, like,
Yeah.
hey.
I can't think of those movies without thinking of I don't know if this is even true, but I keep telling everybody it is as if I know for a fact that I was there, that it happened. But I read
Mhm.
somewhere that, like, Tobey Maguire tried to get James Franco fired because James Franco kept calling him Frog Boy. And I
Why?
don't know, but I fucking hate James Franco, but if that's true, that's the funniest thing he's ever done.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I don't know why. Every
Why do
time
you
I
hate
think about
James
that.
Franco?
He just seems like such a piece of shit. Wasn't he like he was hitting on like underage people in his classes and stuff like that. That's why like wasn't it Seth Rogen said that he'll never do a movie with him again? Which is wild. Talk about holding your friends accountable. Fuck yeah, Seth Rogen. Let's go, babe.
Yeah, that I feel like Seth Rogen probably has lower standards than a lot of people when it comes to that.
I don't know. Seth
Yeah.
Rogen kind of seems like a cool guy to me, you know?
Well, yeah, no, I agree. He seems like a cool guy, but like he seems very forgiving because he's, you know, a funny guy. He's a comedian. They have to be forgiving.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Comedians say horrible shit all the time.
some of them, yeah. I thought the only prerequisite is that you had to be like depressed to be a comedian.
And I guess maybe funny.
Yeah, that's the depression part. Depression
Oh, okay.
makes you funnier. That's a fact.
Uh,
But anyways.
Another tangent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Every once in a while, I have to just talk about a celebrity that I don't like, you know? I went on a whole
Yeah.
Jared Leto rant, now I'm on my James Franco. It's just,
Yeah.
um But I like okay, so John Denver's music is played a lot throughout this movie.
Mhm.
John Denver famously died in a plane crash not that long before this movie was made, actually. And,
Him and a couple other artists, like, were on the same plane, right?
I
Or was
think
that a different plane crash?
I can't remember.
Lots of
Um,
famous people die in plane crashes.
well, they fly a lot, especially
True.
musicians. I feel
True.
like they're flying more often than other people.
Yeah.
Also, side note, can we just say, like, remember when Paula Abdul was like, "I was on a plane crash," and there's no record of it ever happening?
Yeah. Wait, no? Wait, what?
Paula Abdul, like, is adamant that she was on a plane crash that happened while she was touring. But there's no record of a plane crash ever happening during that time or, like, where she said it happened. And so, like, no one really believes her, but I think that's amazing. Hashtag believe women. Um,
Oh my god.
look into it one time. I went down, like, a rabbit hole of this one night. It was, like, 2 a.m., and I was just, like, reading about Paula Abdul's plane crash. Like,
Plane crash with
yeah,
quotes.
like, I just the alleged plane crash.
My god.
Um, Anyways, that wasn't where I was going with the John Denver music at all. But
Okay.
what I was gonna say is that I actually have a story myself about being on a plane and John Denver. And that is that one time I was flying and I was napping and then I was awoken by the flight attendant saying, "Hey everybody, got a surprise for you." And they had a John Denver impersonator on board and he got up and sang the entirety of Take Me Home, Country Roads a cappella during this flight.
Oh my god.
I've been on a lot of flights. Weirdest thing that's ever happened to me.
That's incredible. Was he good?
No, he was so flat. Me and the girl next to me were just like, is this actually fucking happening?
Oh my god.
It was so weird.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah. But also, it just feels kind of inappropriate to like have John Denver songs on a plane, right?
Maybe a little.
After this movie, it feels inappropriate. Um, what else?
um, the main actor,
Mhm.
Devon Sawa,
Mhm.
is that how you say it?
I think so.
Was Casper
Yeah,
as a little baby.
he was.
So cute. He plays a ghost and then he plays whatever he plays. Like
A psychic?
deaths. Yeah,
Kinda?
deaths, something.
I think
Yeah.
they're usually, like, referred to as, like, the visionary, um,
Yeah.
in this series because there's, like, always one, you know? Um,
Is it an anthology?
no.
So some of the same characters are in the movie, the second movie.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't wanna, like, give too much away, I don't know, but yes, there is a returning character in the second one from this movie, um, and
A returning character?
A, one. Um,
Oh, whoa.
but yeah, it's definitely like they in the future movies, like they reference Flight 180 a lot. It kind of becomes like a recurring theme of like, oh, like this has happened before. Like this guy knew that this plane was gonna crash. So like it definitely happens. They reference it. You kind of know. Like I think the next one happens like a year later. I think the third one's like 5 years after. Like so they all do connect. It's just not. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know the second one has, like, the most iconic scene out of all of them, the logging truck or whatever, right? Is that the second one?
Yeah. I think the second
Yeah.
one has, like, more iconic one because it also has, like, the elevator scene, if you know that. I feel like a lot of people reference, like, the Hook elevator scene and then the logging scene. Like, those 2 kind of, like, imprinted on people's brains more than I think this one did. Like, this one, I think the plane scene is, like, iconic, but
Yeah.
and Luton's death is pretty up there, but
Yeah. That was a Murphy's Law kinda thing. Luton's death
yeah,
was
I think that's kind of
just
the whole vibe
could
of
not have
these.
gotten any worse. Yeah.
Yep.
Death personified as Murphy.
Ooh, you wanna know another
Uh,
fun fact about this movie? From
yes.
my personal life? So when I was little, I hated scary movies, didn't wanted nothing to do with them. My sister's best friend at the time loved horror movies, so every time my sister was at her house, she watched one. And she
Mm.
watched this movie, and she came home and was like, "Oh my god, Cassie, like, I have to tell you about this movie." And she starts, like, telling me about it, and I was like, "Yeah, I know." And I literally told her everything that happened in the movie, and she was like, "Have you seen it?" And I was like, "No." But I just, like, knew what happened.
Weird.
And to this day, I think about that because it was definitely weird, but I kinda barely remember it. Like, my sister was like, "No, it was freaky as shit." Like, you were just like, "Yeah, then the plane crashes and the guy gets hung in the bathroom." And she was just like,
Oh my god.
"The fuck?"
You're the visionary.
It's me. Hi.
I thought, like, speaking of, like, iconic scenes,
Mhm.
I thought that I thought that Todd's death was gonna be very different than what it was,
Oh,
and I thought it was gonna be a lot worse than what it was. It was not
really?
it it had when he had those scissors up his nose, it had the potential to be real awful.
True, true.
I was real worried that he was gonna slip and fall on the scissors and his
I still think his is like I mean, yes, it could have been worse, but he is strangled for so long.
oh, yeah.
Which I
It
guess is kind of more accurate. I feel like a lot of the times in movies, people are just like, "Ugh," for like 2 seconds and then they're dead, and it's like,
yeah,
I can hold my breath for longer than that, but
yeah,
his is more realistic, like, felt like it lasted like 2 full minutes.
yeah, maybe.
This is a
'Cause they
lot.
kept giving him a little bit of hope.
Yeah,
Yeah, poor guy.
I know.
Would've been
Yep.
faster with the scissors.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. I think it's interesting that, like, because the plane crash happens and then it kinda, like, cuts forward to the memorial, which is 39 days after, and I think that's interesting that, like, a month passes like, over a month passes before death comes back for them because I don't remember it taking that long in any other movie, like, in this series. I
Well,
feel
and
like
then at
it's
the end, it's 6 months
right, and it's
between
still after them,
death.
which that, without giving too much away, I feel like that does kind of happen,
Oh, okay.
where there's, like, a large break, but that's more for the dramatic, like, "Did they beat death?" And then,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, they never do, but
I didn't think
although
so with 5 or 6 movies.
there is kind of a debate in these movies on if there's 2 characters that were never proven dead. So, at least not in the actual movies. There was, like, a throwaway thing in, like, a DVD extra or something that said it. So, I
In the
won't say
first movie
2
or throughout the movies?
throughout the movies. I won't
Oh,
say
okay.
which, but there are 2 characters that, like, if you don't consider those DVD extras canon, technically they were never said that they died, so so who knows?
Interesting.
Maybe
Well,
somebody
that's
does
like
beat death.
it's like Alex is like they never even, like, specifically said, "Oh, he lived." He just kind of, like, was alive,
Mm,
which I thought that that was gonna, like, lead to, like It was a dream sequence or something, and he actually did die or some shit.
No.
Uh, Fine, kill all my fun.
No. I mean, I will say, like, Alex and Clear do survive the events of the first movie. Beyond that, who's to say? I won't spoil
Speaking
it.
of clear,
Yes.
and thank you for not spoiling. But speaking of clear, what is it with stupid ass names in horror movies? Sorry to anybody named Clear Rivers
All the
out
Clears and
there.
trees out there are just fucking pissed at you.
Well, I'm sorry. If your name is Clear, your last name can't be Rivers.
Why not? Isn't it kinda like I think it rolls off the tongue, I think it's nice.
Well, that's an opinion, I suppose. Like tree, you mean Bree? Clear, you mean Claire? I'm not watching any more movies that have stupid names in them.
Uh,
I'm putting my foot down now.
okay, I'll go through our list.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Um, yeah, I'm sorry. The weird names don't bother me as much as they seem to, affect you, but I get it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah. But, what else? Oh, fans have theorized that, the mortician,
Mhm.
William Bloodworth is his name.
Very mortician name.
I think I could be wrong because I'll be honest and say the 4th and the 5th one, I think I've seen, like, once each. But I'm pretty sure he's in every movie. Um, but
Is
he's
he death?
so that's the theory
Oh,
amongst
sorry.
fans. No, that's good.
Sorry.
You're on the same track as a lot of people. They think that he's, like, the personification of death, and that's why he knows so much about it and possible ways to beat it. Um, but Tony Todd and the producers have all said, "No, he's just some guy." So, I guess technically he's just some guy.
Well, I mean, he to his credit, he has a lot more experience with death than most people.
Yeah,
So he probably knows something else more than most people.
but I also think, like, how much do morticians really deal with people trying to cheat death, you know?
Oh, I guess that's true.
Is that a lot? I'm not a mortician, so I don't know.
Career change. It's never too late.
That's true. I don't think I could deal with the formaldehyde smell.
I think you have to be elected to be mortician.
Like, mayor?
I think so.
That doesn't sound correct.
It's either mortician or
Mayor?
coroner. Coroner. Is
Don't
it coroner?
I don't know. But I know a lot of places will only take female morticians.
I believe that. I wouldn't trust a man with my dead body.
You shouldn't,
Our
statistically.
yeah, our
That's
coroner's
why.
elected. Oh, not in Arizona, they're not.
Oh, wow. Look at that location-based
Um,
Google services.
um, are they are coroners elected by state?
By
They're
state.
usually elected laypersons who may or may not have medical training, depending on local statutes.
A coroner?
So, yeah,
Doesn't
they
have
may not
medical
even
training?
be according to Google.
Oh, I
They
don't like
may or may
that.
not.
That seems not good.
They're lay people. That's what it says. Usually elected laypersons who may or may not have medical training. They're not pathologists. So they contract out people. Who knew?
Not me. That's wild.
Yeah, that's,
That doesn't seem like a good system, if I'm being
imagine just,
honest.
like yeah, like you or me, just
One day you're
have
coroner.
my my worst fear is somebody being elected well, maybe it's not a fear, 'cause they're probably a better choice than most, but somebody being elected off of a viral social media campaign alone. That just does not sit right with me.
Isn't that basically just Donald Trump?
Well, yeah, kind of. Yeah,
Just
honestly, and look at how that worked out for us.
yeah.
But imagine just like you or I being fun and having a good time and making a TikTok like elect us for coroner. We don't have any medical training.
I don't think
And then we
I'd
have to decide how people died.
yeah, I don't think I'd be a good coroner. I think I'd be a good president.
Oh, okay. I'd vote for you.
Thank you.
I'd vote for anybody that is not currently the people running. Any of them.
Honestly, yeah, I'm with you.
We have a pool of people that if they're elected, we're moving to Canada.
Oh, okay. Is it just anyone?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
November
So fair.
2024. Peace out, America.
Bye.
All downhill from here.
Honestly, everything's been going downhill since Harambe. I'll die on the
That was
hill.
the timeline.
Yeah, I'll die on the hill
That's
that that's when we entered the bad timeline.
yeah,
If we hadn't killed Harambe, everything would be fine right now. I'm fucking certain.
correct. You're correct.
Thank you.
What
Anyways. What else
are we
about
talking about?
what movie did we watch?
Yeah, seriously. One thing that I thought was interesting, while I was watching the movie, I should have talked about this a long time ago. It would have
Mhm.
flowed a lot, but we got through it.
That's alright.
Harambe. Um, uh, I was like, "Oh my god, did they, like, actually put jet fuel on the top of the ocean and light it on fire and then put boats around it? And, like, what the hell? Like, these scenes are so, like, meticulously done." That's footage of a real plane crash.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, Flight 800 exploded in the late '90s. Interestingly enough, it was also carrying a high school French club.
Is that how they got the idea of the movie?
I don't think so. I don't know because this started like, this was originally written to be an episode of The X-Files, and
That's
then
right.
yeah, and then, uh, James Wong and someone else were on like, they were working on X-Files, and they read it, and they were like, "Bro, this should be, like, a full movie." They
Yeah.
literally said that, "Bro, this should be a full movie." And then,
Word for word.
yeah, I was there, and then, but yeah, I and then that's how it kind of evolved. I think they kinda helped write it into a full-length movie. So I don't know if they, like,
Cute.
borrowed from that at all, but yeah,
Sad.
I know. It was, like, investigated too because they weren't sure if it was, like, an intentional explosion or not, but
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
it wasn't.
Not no, I mean, I'm sure it was investigated.
Oh, yeah.
Not intentional.
You were like, "Yeah, it definitely was."
No,
Um,
investigated, investigated.
yeah, 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 planes don't usually just explode, so but it was
Yeah.
ruled a mechanical failure, so
The
yikes.
FAA, like, investigates pilots if they, like, gain weight.
What? You just, like, have a bad year and all of a sudden you're being investigated? Not even that, like, it doesn't have to be a bad year to gain weight, but you know what I'm saying, like
Yeah, it's I'm exaggerating, but, like, literally, pilots have to weigh themselves before they get on their helicopters, at least. 'Cause my husband's a pilot. My husband's a helicopter pilot. He's got his helicopter pilot's license.
Interesting.
He was telling me how, like, every single time he would get in his helicopter, he had to weigh himself and then offset his weight with fuel on the opposite side of the helicopter,
I guess that does
um,
make sense, especially with
and
a
then write it in his
helicopter
logs.
because it's smaller.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm exaggerating slightly, but, like, The FAA.
So that was a
FAA?
lie.
An exaggeration. Um, anyway, they mean business.
Yes, they do. They were originally gonna just title this movie Flight 180, and
I thought they
then
were gonna call it like, "Oh, here comes Death God" or something.
no, I think that's like a translation.
Oh,
Like, I think if you the translated title in another country is that.
okay.
But no, they were gonna just name it Flight 180, and then it was around the time that, like, Air Force One and movies like that were coming out, and they were like, "We don't want people to think that this is just, like, about a plane." It's not that type of movie, so they just
Yeah.
changed it to Final Destination, which I like,
Which
Katie messaged me as soon as she started it and just said, "Oh, Final Destination like a plane, not like hell."
yeah, yeah. So much more sense.
Yeah, the Final
If I had
Destination
made that
ones.
connection, I might have been a little closer
Yeah.
than everybody has to escape Earth to go to Mars or something. I don't even remember what I said.
You were very convinced it was a zombie movie.
I yes.
Yeah. It's not even a little bit.
No, it sure isn't.
Yeah, Michelle, like, messaged me after, or maybe she said it after we, like, stopped recording and was just like, "How do you keep a straight face when she says things like that?" I'm used to it now.
Ugh.
Alright, well, was there anything that you didn't like about it?
Um, I mean, not really. Like there wasn't anything like super glaring. It I mean, maybe like some tone adjustments, but I mean, that's just getting really nitpicky. I said that I wouldn't mind it having the tone of like Happy Death Day, making it like a full-blown comedy because it was making me laugh, but it's probably a me problem, not a the movie problem.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I don't want it to be a full-blown comedy, but I think if they maybe didn't take themselves as seriously, it would've been, like, a little bit better, but I do love this movie, like, it's stupid and it's ridiculous, but, like, it's so much fun.
Mhm.
But I think not so much in this one, uh, more so in the later ones, like, it gets a little, like, ridiculous. You really have to start suspending your belief a lot for some of it, but I think at the time, I mean, I know that, like, this movie did maybe, like, borrow some ideas from some older movies, I think there was a movie called Soul Survivor that was kind of like a similar concept where, like, this woman survives a plane crash, and then the people from the crash come after her to, like, reclaim her, um,
Ew.
so I think, like, there's stuff like that, but I'd never seen anything like that, so when I watched this, I was like, "This is wildly original," like, such a different concept, like, it's like a teen slasher, but without an actual slasher, like, it's just, like,
Mhm.
something coming for people, and I feel like that doesn't happen a lot, it's usually there's, like, a person or an entity coming after people, whereas this one's, like, a little bit less clear, I mean, it is death, but it's kind of an unseen entity, um but yeah, I just think that they're so much fun. I have a friend whose mom hates horror movies. She loves these movies. I think they're
Aw,
so much fun.
they are. Oh, well, this one is. I don't know about the other ones yet.
I think the first one and the second one. Third one's, like, acceptable because Chris Lemke's in it. We already know from
Oh,
Ginger Snaps that I've got a little crush on him, so
yeah. Man, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
I know. He plays a little goth boy.
Aw.
Boy, he was, like, 30 when he
Uh,
filmed that.
still. Um, so I'm sad you haven't seen Lost.
Oh, sorry.
A lot of Lost. Um, like a lot of inspiration, I think, for Lost was pulled from this movie. Like,
Really?
yeah,
Oh, there's a
because
plane
there's
crash, I guess.
the whole show is about a plane crash, indeed. And it's about the survivors of the plane crash
Mhm.
and why they didn't die. and what is trying to kill them, and how it's not really human, it's not really a monster, like, what is it?
I don't mean to, like, spoil Lost, but weren't they just dead the whole time? Isn't that why everybody hated the ending?
Not exactly.
So they were just dead the whole time.
No, that's a theory. That's one of the theories.
So they didn't even straight out say?
No, there didn't I tell you about my journal of unanswered lost questions?
No.
Yeah, so I have watched Lost at least 4 times, if not more. One of the times I watched it, probably like 3 times it, 2 or 3 times it. It wasn't my second time, so probably my 3rd time watching it. Um, I wrote down questions that I had while watching the show and crossed them off as they were answered. Pages and pages and pages of questions, like relevant unanswered questions to the plot. Not like, "Oh, why did this person have green shoes?" Like, relevant to the plot questions
Yeah, like, why was
that
there
were
a polar
unanswered.
bear? They just never talked about it again.
Exactly.
That's what lost me.
Exactly.
No pun intended, lost. Yeah, I remember watching, like, the first season of it, and then that like, there was a polar bear, and then they just never mentioned it again, and I just remember looking at my mom, I was, like, fucking 12, and I was like, "This isn't for me, mom. I gotta go. I can't watch this anymore.
Yeah.
I need
That
answers."
I think that the reason that I gravitated towards it so much is because it was, like, the first, like, even remotely scary thing I ever watched.
Hmm, that's fair.
So, yeah, and I enjoyed it a lot for that reason because it was spooky and different than anything I'd ever watched before.
I like it.
You should try it again as an adult.
I'm okay.
Ugh.
Thanks, though. You literally just said you have pages and pages of unanswered questions. I can't do that to myself.
That doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch
It
it.
does for me,
Lots of people like it.
and lots of people don't.
More people like it. But actually, there's like some controversy right now, like literally like today of like um how like working conditions on the set of the show.
Oh, it's
So much
bad?
so that there's a documentary being created right now that's like for charity. The documentary is being created. They had to stop it because they were getting so much backlash. Yeah, it's wild. Some book was published with some secrets about the working conditions, and it's just been like awful. So
Yep.
anyway, another tangent.
Yeah, you know us. Well,
Mhm,
how
mhm.
scary did you think it was?
0. 1, I suppose. Not scary at all.
Fair.
Like, literally, I think towards the beginning of this experiment, like, a movie like this where well, it's not I shouldn't even say a movie like this because like, there's some, like, scary themes, I guess, but they just didn't bother me, but, like, a few movies ago, if it was just gore that made the film horror, I would have put some, like, scary points on it, but it just gore's just not scaring me anymore. It doesn't scare me. I'm becoming immune.
Wow. And it only took you,
Mhm.
like, what, 25, 26 episodes?
Yep.
I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I
Did
also
you
said
also give it a 1?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think this movie's a romp. It's so much fun. I think,
Yep.
like and again, there's, like, death scenes in the second one that I think traumatized a generation, like, anybody who watched the second one will never drive behind a logging truck because, like, we just know that that's not safe. So,
Yeah.
like or the elevator scene. Like, there's things in the second one where it's, like, they stuck with you a little bit more, whereas in this
Yeah.
one, I don't remember ever, like, being that traumatized by it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, this one's a 1 for me.
Same. Same, same. Uh, was it fucked up at all?
No. I gave it a 1. I feel like it's not like, again, it's just pretty standard stuff for, like, horror movies. There wasn't a lot of, like, super crazy things that I mean, like, it's crazy things that happen because it's so ridiculous, but not in, like, a,
Yeah,
"Holy shit, that's fucked" type of way, you know?
yeah. I gave it a 1.5 just because of, like, the Murphy's Law of it all. Like,
Yeah,
anything that could go wrong did,
that's fair.
but yeah. Other than that, like, been there, seen that.
Yeah. What about sexy?
Nah, 1. Wasn't sexy. It was fun.
Yeah.
Did you think it was sexy?
No, I give it a 1.5 just because it's like, you know, like, death as a
90s-ish.
concept is kind of sexy.
Like, the
Um,
character of death?
yeah, you know, whatever. Uh,
Okay.
and I don't know why, but I'm kind of like an Ali Larder fan, even though I'm pretty sure, like, I have seen her in, like, this movie and then, like, that movie with Beyoncé that she did. It's like
What?
it's bad, don't watch it. But yeah, I don't know why. I think it's just because of this movie. Because
Okay.
I was like, if I was in high school, like, I'd probably be Claire, you know? I was, like, a little weirdo too.
You even say Claire when you say clear. Like,
Claire.
her name should just be Claire. Sorry.
I'm sorry that that name happened to you.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, no, I didn't recognize anybody from this movie except Detective Ween.
You
He's
didn't
in he's in comedies.
I'm just what do you mean you don't know Sean William Scott? I don't understand how you don't know who that is.
Who?
Billy! Got his head chopped off.
Oh, no, no, okay, you're right, you're right. He's in, like, Dude, Where's My Car?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, no, I do know him too. Okay, you're right, you're right, you're right.
We went
Him
over
and
this
him and
last
Detective Ween, and I know the name Shrek,
There you go. Can you imagine
but
if
I
it
didn't
was
know
just
the
Shrek?
actor.
10 out of 10 movie if Shrek was in
That's perfect.
it.
Shrek horror movie, live action Shrek, Shrek remake live action horror movie.
That would be terrible, and you know it.
Well, a lot of horror movies are, and we still enjoy them.
So true, bestie. I think being a fan of horror just means watching a lot of really bad movies, but they're so much fun.
Yeah, it's fun to watch bad movies.
Yeah. Alright.
We haven't had a lot of bad movies though.
I mean, when I was putting this together, right, like, this all started my list began because you had said, "I wanna get into horror movies, like, what should I watch?" So I started to put together a list, and originally I was ranking it based on, like, least to most scary, like, all that kinda stuff, and I was basically putting this all together, and then we decided to do a podcast, and I just converted that list into this schedule. So, like, I wasn't putting a lot of movies that, like, I thought were terrible on there because I wanted you to get into horror movies. Like, that was
Yeah.
the whole plan. So I think eventually we should start doing some real clunkers, but, like
Yeah, I agree. Cuz it worked. I'm into it now. I just want to watch all of them.
yeah. See how that works? Um, overall, what did you think?
3.5. Did you give it a 3.5? Oh my god.
My heart kinda said 4, but I think realistically it's a 3.5.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. There not a whole lot I would change about it. It just like compared to all the other movies that we've seen, 3.5. It's still a good movie.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, like, I know that this isn't the greatest movie in the world, and critics fucking hated this movie.
Oh yeah.
But, like, I don't get it. They're so much fun to watch, like, if we could all just decide that, like, movies don't have to be masterpieces sometimes, they can just be, like, a fun time,
Yeah.
I think we'd all like a lot more movies.
Which I feel like in 2000 that was kind of the vibe. Like,
Yeah.
movies didn't have to be masterpieces, so, like, why were critics so fucking upset? It's because her name is clear.
You know, in all of the critic reviews, that never came up, but maybe
Okay.
secretly
Sad.
they were holding on to that.
It's one of the few franchises I don't know if it's horror franchises or franchises in general, that the critic score increases as there's more movies released. So, like,
Really?
2 has a higher score than 1, and 3 has a higher score than 2.
Honestly, that really? 3 has a higher score than 2?
Supposedly.
That I don't
Hold on,
agree with.
let's double check.
2
Let's double
having
check,
a
let's double
higher
check.
score than 1? Maybe. The second one's good.
Alright, let's see. Why couldn't you just take me to RottenTomatoes.com, you stupid hoe?
Oh god.
I hate Google. Sorry. Um, okay, typing it in again?
I can just tell you.
No, I wanna look it up myself.
Okay. I already got it, so you let me
Okay,
know.
tell me.
Final
Okay, I got
Destination
it too.
2 has a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. Final Destination
And
3 has a 43%.
oh,
So it did drop down.
I don't even see a score on Final Destination 3.
Really?
Yeah, there's no critic score, it's just audience score, 57.
Oh, if you go to, on Google, it'll say on the side, like, the IMDb and then the Rotten Tomatoes rating is marked as a 43%.
Oh,
I don't
weird.
know.
You know, the first one, 36%, the second one, 48%. Um, 5 is fresh, 62%.
Really?
Mhm.
I mean, I would definitely agree that 4 is the weakest.
It's got the lowest,
Yeah, 4 is
27.
definitely the weakest. I could see why
And it's
critics
not even
like
called
the 5th one.
why?
Oh, I can't say, otherwise it'd be kind of a spoiler, but,
Oh, okay.
like, I get it, but I kinda disagree. I think the 1st and the 2nd ones are, like, real good. 3rd one's fun,
36%?
but
Wild to me that it's only 36%.
I know.
My audiences like it? Hold on, let me look.
Not really.
68? 68?
Alright, that's fine.
It's not bad, yeah. Um,
Yeah, I don't
no,
know.
that's not so bad.
Well, would you survive?
Uh, no. Mm,
Big surprise, big
um,
surprise.
yeah. I mean, a lot of the survival is happening because the characters were, like, quick on their feet, fast moving,
Mhm.
rescued by other characters.
Yeah.
It's not me. It couldn't be me.
You don't think you could get saved by someone else?
I don't think anybody would save me.
I would save you.
Oh, thank you. Um, I'm still dead though.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Are you living?
see, it's hard to say because I know more about the series than you do, right? So it's hard, like, can I take into account things that I know from other movies or not? Like, do I have to just look
No,
at this movie and say, "Would I survive?"
this movie alone.
This movie alone, I mean, technically, I was in this if this movie happened to me when I was in high school, it would have been post 9/11, and that plane would have never taken off in the first place, so I would have never even known that Alex was right. I would have never believed him.
True.
But we'll say, in the context of this, I was in there. Even though I could see myself being a clear in this situation because I think even though I don't really believe in all that, I was a little bit more receptive to it in high school. And also, I think if I saw the plane explode after he had said it was gonna, I might be like, "Ooh, I'll hear you out." I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm gonna say no. Because I think it would have been very exhausting, and although I don't know, there's things that happen in future movies where I'm kinda like, "Maybe I would." I think I would've made some
So
different choices.
for me, it like nail in the coffin is that everybody got on the plane at the beginning. Like
Mhm.
if I'm on a plane, I'm knocking myself out. I have already taken an entire Xanax,
Yeah.
sometimes one and a half, and a Benadryl and anti-nausea medicine.
Mhm.
So I'm asleep and no fight in the aisle is going to wake me up.
You would have never even
So
gotten off the plane.
I would have never even known it was exploding. I'd be dead.
Alright.
Yep.
It's hard to
Let
argue
alone
with that.
yeah, let alone how slow I am and how I have very few people that will save me.
That's not
I'm
true.
just dead. What do you mean?
If you were in this type of situation, I think you know, people would save you so that you could save them, you know what I mean? It's like and also so
Look
that
out
there's
for each
other
other.
people cushioning your spot, you know? If you're
Yeah,
alive,
that's
that
true.
means I got one more until death comes for me, so
That's true. Very true. Okay. That's fair. All right.
Alright.
Well, we both die.
Yeah. But it's a
Thanks to
romp.
Xanax for me.
Thanks.
Yes. Certified romp.
Certified romp. You heard it here first.
Yeah. It's not
Um,
a slog.
no,
Romp versus
this
slog. This one's a romp.
it's a romp. We need like a axes, you know? Like it's like a romp and a slog, and then there has to be like two other ones, and we can start placing movies on.
What would they be?
I don't know. We'll have to think about that.
Oh, you can't hear this, but my dog's having a little.
A little dream?
Yeah, she's making little woof, woof, woof noises in her sleep.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great note to end on.
What's next week?
Next week is a movie you've actually already seen. So it's Zombieland.
Zombieland?
Yep.
Uh, more zombie movies.
More zombie movies.
Cool. All right. Well, I don't have to guess what happens because I know.
Yeah, you already know. But
Bye.
there it is.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for today. If there are any movies you'd like to hear us talk about or you'd like to traumatize me with, please let us know in the comments or shoot us a DM on our socials at Killer Cuties Podcast.
Thanks so much for listening. Next week, we're going to be talking about the 2009 zombie comedy film, Zombieland. We hope to see you then. Bye.